What's going on, boxing fans all over the world? It's Bull Kind of Boxing, and we want to talk about the real, what's going on in boxing. Uh, Trying to work at the same time. I got the skills, the work skills to pay the bills. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, I want to talk about the press conference. Uh, we saw we saw Tyson Fury and the shape he came into the press conference. And, you know, there's nothing more obvious than you see there's an organized effort to, make Deontay Wilder look terrible to the public. They're trying to make sure public opinion is against Deontay Wilder. And when I say they, I mean the media, I mean all the Wilder haters out there. And the interesting thing about it is Tyson Fury is is the one with the terrible track record. He is the one who was suspended from boxing for 2 years for using PEDs. He don't even see anything wrong with using PEDs. He says everybody does it, right? Like a teenager or something like that. When teenager, oh, everybody's smoking, everybody's drinking, so it's okay for me to do it. So you see the writers for ESPN, uh, Mike Coppinger, and Shrills for uh, you just you work for them and you try to slant public opinion by doing hit pieces on fighters that they want to degrade and downplay. So we see a lot of this today in boxing. Um, you know, I was just reading the articles about Wilder and Tyson Fury 3, and the writers are already saying that Tyson Fury has won the fight. I mean, they're already saying that Wilder will lose. Uh, and then they give you these crazy reasons why. They say Wilder's depressed. They say Wilder got so beat so badly in the last fight that he can't possibly beat Tyson Fury. So they're trying to put Tyson Fury so far in the imagination, try to put him so far superior to Wilder that, everybody, has to believe that Tyson Fury can beat Deontay Wilder. So there's an organized effort in the media to make it seem like Deontay Wilder is a bum fighter. But, you have to be a hardcore boxing fan to really see this. If you're just a casual fan, you just kind of like glancing and you're not really paying attention. And, if you do your research, you'll see that Tyson Fury does not have a boxing license in England. He don't have a boxing license because there's an investigation because he failed his VADA testing for PEDs, HGH, whatever the steroid was, you know. Tyson Fury uses steroids to enhance his power. See, now to the racist fans, this does not matter. They just want to see Deontay Wilder lose. They don't care by any means necessary. You see, because it's all about race, and it's all about them looking superior. But they won't tell you this. And Deontay Wilder usually quiet. I mean, look at how many opponents Deontay Wilder's opponents failed the drug test. Um, what was his name? Polovich, who just retired. Um, there's a number of Deontay Wilder's opponents failed drugs tests that was where he was supposed to fight. He even went to Russia to fight Polovich, and when he tested positive, Luis Ortiz, he failed a drug test, vital drug test, and I mean, and Deontay Wilder even, stated a while back that he knows of a lot of fighters who take steroids, but he didn't out them, which is commendable. He's not a rat, but he knows a lot of his opponents take steroids, and Tyson Fury is one of them. He is a steroid taker. He has no power. He has 3 real knockouts in his whole career. I'm talking about like where you just knock somebody out. He has 3 real knockouts. So with the public knowing that, they should know that there's no way in the world that he could come in the second fight and display such power. And it's been reported that he runs around with people, with the bodybuilders who have the steroids. Look at what was that interview where the guy who broke his neck? What was the fighter? I can't recall his name. He fought Roy Jones Jr. and oh man, what is his name? I can't call his name right now. But if you go back and you look at not Boom Boom Mancini, it's let me see, let me look it up real quick. Anyway, I'm gonna just move on. Well, it's well known that Tyson Fury hang out, and he looks for steroids, so to enhance his performance. So with this kind of stuff known, that he's been busted in the past, he's been busted with his gloves loaded. But he's been busted in practice with his gloves loaded. He cheats in practice, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, the man cheats in practice. I mean, against his sparring partners. Does that tell you? What does that tell you? This guy's a scumbag. Look at his body. So you think he's coming in, looking like that, and he's bouncing around the ring like a welterweight, like he's at 147. So for a lot of fans, they don't care, because they want to see somebody, humble Deontay Wilder. I see a lot of the comments that's all about Deontay Wilder's attitude, and all fighters are brash and have attitude. It's only when the black fighters have, that's, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, even Sugar Ray Robinson. They were all the same way. And even back then, the racist fans wanted them humble, so they really want Deontay Wilder humble. But when you have to cheat, you have to do steroids to compete. They try to cut that narrative out of the situation because they don't want that exposed. They want that kept secret. They just want to concentrate on humiliating Deontay Wilder, but they don't want to concentrate on what he had to do, what Tyson Fury had to do to achieve that level of combat strength to defeat Deontay Wilder. They don't want to talk about that. So, it's all swept up under the rug, and we could just concentrate on talking shit about beating the hell out of Deontay Wilder when really Tyson Fury should be put in jail for, using steroids to enhance his performance. And everybody be like, well, prove it. Well, he don't have a boxing license in England. Do you hear any media covering that? Do you hear any questions? Now on Boxing Social, if y'all go look, you'll see there's a few reporters who asked Tyson Fury about his steroid usage. And on some occasions, he said, well, everybody's doing it. On some occasions, he says, no comment. No comment. I'm not talking about that. Well, what does that tell you? And what does that tell you about the boxing public, right? They don't care about fair, even playing field. It's just like in real life, they don't care about equal playing field. They just want to win by any means necessary. So what this should tell you coming into this third fight, is that Tyson Fury don't have a chance. If he comes in without his HGH, and he comes in without his fist being into the wrist of the glove, you seen how he was hitting them in the second fight. His fist wasn't even in the gloves. You see what I'm saying? This is the hatred towards Deontay Wilder. The man fist, Ricky Hatton came up and pulled the glove back before the bout ended. Pulled the glove back. I mean, so when we say there was cheating, there's not an imagination thing. Just go back and watch the fight. Look at how Tyson Fury was hitting Deontay Wilder with the palm or the wrist of the glove, because that's where his fist was, his naked fist, right? So you want to ignore that because you just want Tyson Fury to win, So that's what you got to do to get bragging rights. You got to back a cheater, somebody who don't have a boxing license in England. Okay, let's just flip the script. Let's say that Deontay Wilder was the one who was busted for PEDs and suspended from boxing for 2 years. Let's flip the script. Let's say that Deontay Wilder can't fight in the U.S. He's got to go to Saudi Arabia and fight AJ. He's got to go everywhere else. He can't fight in his own country because he's trying to run away from a VADA investigation. That's what's happening to Tyson Fury in England right now. And the hardcore boxing fans know this, but I don't think the casual fans know that Tyson Fury is a steroid user. He don't have any power, any natural power. They keep saying that he gained weight, and now he's leaning into his punches or whatever. He's sitting on his punches. This is bullshit. This is total bullshit. If you talk to a hardcore boxing fan who follows the sport, they know that's bullshit. You don't go to one boxing camp and all of a sudden you develop great power. No, look at the fight. Look at how he was hitting him. Look at the blood on his hand wraps. You don't get blood on your hand wraps. You know what I'm saying? All right, watch him pull his gloves, pull the glove off, and you'll see the blood on the hand wrap because his hands was in the wrist of the glove, and Ricky Hatton came and pulled the glove back and forth off his. Go watch the fight. So, all you guys with all this bragging, nobody cares about that because we already know. You can see it. They did it right before your eyes. He called himself Houdini. Tyson Fury calls himself Houdini. And shout out to Champ Side for his research. Tyson Fury, for all the British fans and all of the racist white fans here in America who backs Tyson Fury is a product of Emanuel Steward. Right. So, and he lived with Emanuel Steward, and he's a product of Emanuel Steward. Him, Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, they all are a product of American school system of boxing. So before you get you know, all happy about, the British way and how he's a gypsy king of Europe and all that. No, he was trained right here in Detroit in America. He was trained by the great legendary Emmanuel Stewart. That's right. He lived with Emmanuel Stewart. He trained in the Crunk Gym of America, right? Right? So that's like if uh you're a great swordsman, right? Let's say you're a great swordsman and you just nice with it. And but you're from India and you go into the sword competition and you just slicing up everybody. Well, you can't say that India is you can't say you're the Indian best swords fighter because you trained in Japan, but all your masters that you learned from is in Japan. You learned all their techniques and you took it to India, to represent India. Like when in the Olympics, you have people who don't make the Olympic team, but they train in America. But when it comes time for the Olympics, you know, if they don't make the American Olympic team, they go to the country. They'll go to Mexico. If you're Mexican, you'll go represent Mexico and see if they can make the Mexican team. And maybe they make the team, or you go to Canada. If you're Canadian, if you have Canadian citizenship, it's the same with Tyson Fury. He worked in Detroit in a car factory, while he trained and learned how to box in America. So he taught Fury. If you look, the one who trained, he trained Tommy Hearns. He trained like 41 champions. So, before you have such pride and everything, it all still comes back to America. Okay? So just calm down. It all comes back to America. So shout out to Champ Side for that research. That's not my research, you know. And but the American media, um, you know, they're looking for anything. They're looking for any negative news they can put out to sway the public opinion against Deontay Wilder. From him dancing with his family, having a good time with his family, from the way they was trying to bury him when it came to his court arbitration, right? They was trying to make it look like Deontay Wilder was trying to take something that wasn't that he wasn't obligated to have, right? I mean, look, who runs from a contract that they signed? And nobody even questions Tyson Fury about it. No media is in his face saying, "Hey, did you sign, for a second fight?" Nobody cares. Did you sign for that second fight? They make it look like that Deontay Wilder has came in between him and the AJ fight when actually they were trying to ignore Deontay Wilder's third fight, right? They was trying to overlook that fight. They was trying to cheat Deontay Wilder out of the third fight. So, but they tried to paint it in a negative light to make it look like Deontay Wilder was doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing. So this is what I'm talking about. Everybody's upset with Wilder because AJ and Tyson Fury, won't be fighting next. And then, Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum, they going back and forth about what happened when they knew the entire time that there was an arbitration going. They knew the entire time. So you got a lot of media out here don't know what to do. They've already talked a lot of shit against Deontay Wilder. Now he's not speaking to the media because They're doing hit pieces on him, you know. Like I said, you would think that Deontay Wilder is the one who tested positive for PEDs. You would think he's the one who's got busted in the past for cheating, you know. But it just goes to show you the racism in boxing. You know, they talk about how you know, a lot of these fans talk about how the attitude and overconfidence. But look at Tyson Fury. Isn't he the biggest big mouth, overconfident dude you ever saw? The biggest flake. Look how goofy he was acting in the press conference. He was acting goofy as hell, like a little child. Let me see if I can. He was acting like a little child, you know, spinning his arms and acting stupid. Let's see if I can get over. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Acting stupid, you know, backwards, wearing those silly clothes, you know, and then his body looked like he looked like a fat clown from Spawn, but you don't hear anything from the media about it. But when they talked about um, Ruiz, when he fought AJ, they talked about how bad he was and how ugly his body was, but you don't hear none of that about Tyson Fury, and he looked absolutely horrible. He looked absolutely horrible. He looked like a goofy, a 6'9" goofy clown. He looked ugly. All he could talk about was Deontay Wilder had no confidence. He showed no confidence, and all kind of negative things like you know he was depressed. They said he was depressed after the conference. So I'm just like, wow. It's like, how far are they gonna go? How far are they gonna go with this smear campaign? So you know, don't act like there's no organized effort. You know, to have this negative to sway public opinion against Wilder because they've been doing it for years. You know, Wilder record is clean. He didn't do any PEDs. He didn't get suspended from boxing for 2 years for doing PEDs. So when he comes in and he destroys Deontay Wilder, you know, cheating, you know, everybody like, no, no, he's not cheating. He you know, like he never cheated in his life like that. Like Tyson Fury is beyond any kind of reproach. That is bullshit, and they know he cheated, but they don't care. So I say that all that to say this, you know, in the third fight, Tyson Fury is going to be watched closely, and he knows it. Why you think he's looking all stupid? You know, why you think his daddy don't want him to fight? But he probably figured out something that he want to try to get away with. See, Tyson Fury, he'll try anything because he comes from the dirt. You know, he'll try anything to get over. He don't care. He'll try anything. You know, you seen him when he got busted with that glove. He just stood there like he played it to the end, like nothing was wrong, until the referee actually had to make him change his gloves. So when you talk shit to people, people already, you know, especially hardcore fans, they already know the history of Tyson Fury. So make sure you talk to a casual fan because hardcore fans already know what time it is. Then you got the fans who just don't like Deontay Wilder, the black fans I'm talking about. They want to see him lose. So, you know, they want to make the opposition money, you know, on the hate. So, you know, we're real boxing fans here. You know, we want to see the best fight the best. We want to see it on an even playing field. And when you do that, then you know that Tyson Fury don't have a chance at all. You know, it's too much hope in boxing. People, you know, too much politics and too much hatred. So you know, you want to steal somebody's hard work through cheating and lies. When you got a whole media smear campaign against you, they're gonna back the guy that's been busted for cheating. They're gonna back the guy who's a scumbag, really. Deontay Wilder don't have any of that on his record, right? You would think he would be the hero in all this, but like I said, the organized effort to keep black fighters down is real, and they know it's real. Because it don't matter how fantastic these fighters are. Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. You're gonna have that faction of boxing fans who's not gonna like black excellence. Jermell Charlo, they won't let Jermell Charlo nowhere near Canelo. Nowhere near Canelo. They keep saying, who has he fought? They keep saying stuff like, the man got 3 belts at 154. The man is about to become undisputed at 154. Jamal Charlo, they won't let Canelo nowhere near Jamal Charlo, even though they keep implying that Canelo will. So how long can you stay in boxing by implying that you're going to fight somebody who you should have fought 6 years ago? So you're going to imply your way into retirement. That's what's going to happen. Canelo is not going to fight anymore 50-50 fights. Look when he fought Triple G. Did he look like a dominant fighter? Did he look like a dominant special fighter? Hell no, he didn't. So you think he's going to fight any more fights like that and get his ass whooped? But branding is important. So when you brand somebody, you think they can do anything. Look how they branded Triple G. Look what Triple G is nowadays. It's the same with Canelo. It's all bullshit. And that's just not hate. That's just what I've seen over the last 10 years in boxing. They're not going to let these guys get into the ring with somebody who can beat them. They're going to use the media to downplay their skills and who have they fought and the haters and the fans, and they're going to play it down. Instead of real boxing fans just want to see these Canelos and the Triple G's and the Tyson Furies play on a fair playing field. They allow the racist fans to protect these supposedly elite fighters. So I'm just full kind of boxing, and I'm just telling you like it is, man. I'm just telling you like it is. You may not want to hear it, but it is what it is. So, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of racism in boxing. And so with that said, there's a lot of narratives. There's a lot of channels that play on that hatred towards one fighter than another. And people don't want to hear the truth. They don't like the truth. That's why, you got a lot of opposition channels who are paid by promoters, to put out this misinformation. So, long as you tune into Full Counter Boxing, we can talk real boxing, without all the hate, without all the bullshit and the lies. But see, you got a lot of people out there that enjoy that kind of stuff. You got a lot of people who enjoy misinformation. You got a lot of people out there that don't care. They'll just lie to the end. They don't care how they make their money. It just is what it is. It's life. It's the world we live in. It's a lot of scumbags out there. It's a lot of scumbags out there. They have no values, no morals. I'm telling you, this country is, once you roll over that rock, you see all the bugs and you see all the worms crawl out. They're all over the place. On the internet, it is a roach nest. It is a roach nest for disgusting people. And these guys, the problem is that they work so hard. The real boxers who, Paulo Malignaggi talked about, and he's even turned his, he's turned his little racist card, little racist ass. I'm so glad that dude slapped the shit out of him. And it's all about making money, and it's all about race, and it's all about trying to be the dominant, you know, the dominant ethnic group. So I just say that to educate you guys. I mean, I know a lot of my hardcore boxing fans, they already know this shit, but they still act like, they still try to act like and pretend like they don't know what's going on. So you just go look at the articles, about Wilder. Wilder just came out with Boxing Conversation, and he talked about, Jamel Charlo, coming out talking about all lives matters, race only skill pay the bills. That's bullshit. Look at him. He's not even on the pound for pound list. You know, one of the most skilled boxers in boxing. You know, but when you talk about the power in boxing and promotion companies, who are they? They white men. They white men, and they want their faces on boxing. The WBC has a Mexican president. They want their face as the face of boxing. So it just makes sense. Now, when black people do it, there's a problem. When black people, but they're gonna try to subvert any black excellence in boxing. And I want y'all to keep that in mind. I want you to keep that in mind as you watch these articles. As you watch, the media. You know, what media outlet has asked Tyson Fury about anything that's going on? They say, "Hey man, why you not fighting in your country?" You know, what is going on, man, with the investigation? The Vada investigation. His stuff, his results magically disappears. Wild boar meat and this kind of shit. Wild boar meat, really, really wild boar meat, and then they tried to pay the guy to lie, and he came out and told it. So miss me with all that. Miss me with all that stuff, man. That all the brag in it. You know, Deontay Wilder this, when Tyson Fury is the biggest mouth, it's got the biggest attitude. That's all that racism shit. Nobody want to hear it, man. Nobody want to play them kind of games, bro. Tyson Fury got more mouth than Muhammad Ali, got more attitude than Muhammad Ali. But yet they just want anything to focus in on Deontay Wilder to put him down. And that's what it is. The man barely says anything. And when he does, it just gives them more fodder just to try to spin and talk about. And then you got the other boxing channels, they're going to use that hate so they can make money. So the whole thing is just disgusting. You just got a lot of people with a lot of amoral motherfuckers out here. Got a lot of amoral motherfuckers out here. And they don't care. They don't care. They would denigrate you. They will put your names and put lies out about you. They don't care. Look what they doing to the LDBC. Look what they're saying about them. It's putting out lies and trying to smear people. I mean, it's got to be some kind of legal way to stop these people from telling lies about you and things like that. And they're being paid by these promotional companies to do it. And they're getting paid to lie and getting paid to smear other folks. But that's beyond what I'm talking about. So, you guys, just keep your eyes open and watch the supposedly unbiased media, tell you that Tyson Fury is gonna beat Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder is only a one trick pony, and that he's not focused, and just anything to make you believe that he doesn't have a chance to beat Tyson Fury. But on the flip side of the coin, they're terrified. They're terrified because they done talked all this shit against Deontay Wilder, and he's been working on this. He's been working on this shit. And how can Tyson Fury cheat if he's being watched closely? They threw the towel over the camera when he was wrapping his hands in the last fight. They threw the towel over his hands, so you couldn't see what was going on. So we have all this information, and everybody just do a nod and a wink. Oh yeah, Tyson Fury, he just destroyed Deontay Wilder. They know that man cheated. They know it, and they want us to eat it, and they want us to feel it because that's how amoral motherfuckers is. Motherfuckers amoral as hell, but nobody cares because we already know. We already know the guys are cheat. He don't have a license. He don't have a license in his own country. So, you know, Deontay Wilder can fight in America. He can fight in England too. He can fight in England too. You know why? Because he didn't do any PEDs. So he can fight both places. He can fight in Canada. He can fight in Mexico. You know who can't fight in their own country? Tyson Fury. Right? So you can come on here, you can say it's misinformation, but you know it's true. Go look it up. Okay? Go look it up. So miss me with all that racist shit when you are backing a cheater. You know, I don't care if you want him to win or not. The guy's a scumbag. He's a 3-time, 4-time scumbag. You know, and if you back him, you're probably a scumbag too, because you already know what time it is. You just want that scumbag to beat the black guy that you hate. So dismiss us with all the racism. You know, this has been pulled kind of box. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. It's free. You know, subscribe to my channel if you like my content. If you don't, I don't give a fuck. Go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? There's a billion boxing channels. All right.